A large, randomized controlled trial showed that multivitamin supplements improves the cognition of older adults. Let's take a deep dive into this paper and figure out if we should be using a daily multivitamin. The paper is titled Effects of Cocoa Extract and a Multivitamin on Cognitive Function, a randomized controlled trial, and it was published on the 14th of September this year, 2022. It starts by giving a bit of background on the existing research, so trials of previous single nutrients such as folic acid with or without other B vitamins, omega-3 fatty acids, and vitamin D on cognitive function, they've all yielded mixed results. And meta-analyses have concluded that the evidence is insufficient to encourage care providers to recommend the use of individual nutrient supplements for brain health. For example, these are the clinical guidelines that I follow in my medical practice, and it says that there's no convincing evidence from clinical trials that vitamin supplementation prevents dementia. And the only long-term multivitamin study that looked at cognition was done in male doctors. This was a randomized controlled trial that ran over 12 years, and they found no difference in the average cognitive change between the multivitamin and placebo group. But because this trial was only studying male doctors, it might be that those doctors were too well nourished, and therefore were unlikely to benefit from multivitamins. Which brings us onto this new study. We want to widen our gaze and see what happens when we give multivitamins to the wider public. So this cognitive study ran alongside the much larger cocoa supplement and multivitamin outcome study. So just by the by, cocoa had no effect on cardiovascular disease, and multivitamins had no effect on cancer. But coming back to the cognition study, this is a study that ran over 3 years, and the cognitive tests were done via telephone. The primary outcome was global cognition. Just over 1,700 patients completed all 3 years of follow-up. And while the cocoa extract didn't improve cognitive function, there was a significant improvement in the multivitamin group compared to placebo. In fact, the study estimated that 3 years of multivitamin supplementation appeared to have slowed brain aging by 1.8 years or 60%. Moreover, upon further analysis, it indicated that participants with a baseline history of cardiovascular disease, they showed a more pronounced multivitamin benefit, suggesting either greater relative improvement or more protection against cardiovascular-related cognitive decline. So we've got 2 studies that are showing different results. We've got one study of male doctors that showed no benefit with multivitamin supplements, but when those supplements were given to the wider population, that's when we saw a benefit on cognition. So it's likely that in the male doctor trial, those participants were already well nourished, so they weren't going to get many benefits from multivitamin supplements. But this new trial has a far more diverse population, and we know that the general diet is relatively poor. For example, results indicate that 41.8% of the population, they've got insufficient levels of vitamin C because of a poor diet. So for these people, it's plausible that they would get a benefit from multivitamin supplementation, which may explain the differing results between this new trial and that other male physician study. This new study also had more challenging memory tests, so it might be more sensitive in detecting improvements in brain health. The study finishes by concluding that we've now got the first evidence that multivitamin supplements do have the potential to improve or protect against cognitive decline in older men and women. So on the back of this new research, what am I personally going to do about multivitamin supplements? Well, we've got very good evidence now that multivitamins, they don't protect against cancer or cardiovascular disease. This trial is interesting though because it uses a diverse population where the diet is not always optimal, and we can see a signal of cognitive benefit. So for patients that already have a great diet, I would not recommend to them to use multivitamin supplements because it's unlikely that they would receive any benefit. But for my patients who financially are not well off and have poor overall health, yes, I would always recommend to them to improve their diet, but for those patients, they might see a benefit from multivitamin supplements. But if you are interested in a supplement that already healthy people should probably take, make sure to subscribe and check out this next video on creatine. A massive thank you to DoNotAge.org for their $10,000 donation to my rapamycin study. They are a health research organization, and to benefit from their ingredients as well as a 10% discount code, check out the pinned comment.